Moving through the clouds, we arrive at suburbia. The houses are very much all alike, with similar elements. Green, well-manicured lawns and well-taken-care-of homes are situated between brown yards, with porches littered with garbage. Every second house is for sale, and worse yet, are those that are boarded up and are outwardly abandoned. The signs of a town that's population is shrinking. A dark night with a full moon, bright and yellow, casts many shadows in the ominous streets below, almost giving the image of vile creatures running about. We see one light on in the distance, in a home that appears to be abandoned. Venturing in, we creep through the door and are welcomed by the overwhelming stench of death, and walk up the decrepit stairs to where the light is brightest. Entering the room, we find no one, yet see a painting. Tonight's ghastly tale takes us back to the year 1978.
The year was 1978. It was a summer night. It was really warm out. It must have been July or August. Well, me and my buddy Elliot were driving around downtown, looking for something to do. He mentioned that his friend Kristen was having some friends over and we should head over there. We didn't have anything to do and we wanted to do something, so we headed over there. At this time in our lives, we were in our 20s and basically just loving life. We're working a couple part-time jobs and really didn't have a care in the world. On this particular night, it was really nice out. There wasn't a cloud in the sky, so it was strange when the radio came on and announced that there was a storm warning. But I guess when it's really warm out, that's the time when storms can come. The time was around 10 p.m. It was still light outside. Well, we arrived up to Kristen's house and the wind just started going crazy. It looks like the radio was true after all. We started walking up to the front of the house. It had a big brown door. It had a well-manicured lawn and was in a mature neighborhood. As we walk up, I went to ring the doorbell and didn't even get a chance to ring it when the door opens up and there's this little lady. Very petite, kind of an artsy-looking lady with these big, large John Lennon-looking glasses. She was dressed in a turtleneck. She looked right at me with the most disturbing look. She didn't even say a word. It was almost as if she'd seen a ghost or... it was just really creepy. At this point, she turned around and she walked away. She didn't even say anything. She just left the door open. Elliot, in the meantime, tried talking to her. She didn't even answer us. She just walked away. We could see her walk into the darkness up the stairs. The home was older. Like I said, it was in a mature neighborhood. It had 2 stories and it was very dark. When we got in there, we could hear noises coming from the distance. You see, there's a hall next to the stairs, and at the very end of the hallway, we seen a light. Most of the lights in the house were off. So we headed to where this light was. Maybe Kristen was there with her friends. And we heard laughter, so why not, right? We started walking towards the light. As we're walking, it was interesting to start to see the different things that were in this house. It had lots of old war memorabilia like swords, helmets, and armor. There was guns, muskets. It was really interesting, but it was also super creepy. In the hallway that seemed like it was never ending, there were tons of rooms that we passed. As we entered the room at the end of the hallway, it turns out it's the kitchen, and there were people drinking and laughing. We could see Kristen's dad and his buddies just having a laugh and drinking some beers. We asked her where she was, and he motioned to the basement. As we started walking down the basement, the stairs creaked like any other old basement. When we got down, there was 5 other people, probably around our age, in their 20s, having a few beers. Kristen got up, she greeted Elliot, and came and said hi to me. Everybody was just sitting around the couch. I looked over at Elliot. I could see he was uneasy. I don't know if he was nervous because we didn't really know anybody there. In fact, I felt uncomfortable. We hung out there for a bit, and I managed to check out some of the cool war artifacts and some of the helmets and knives that were downstairs. They asked us if we wanted some drinks, and I politely refused the wine. Number one, I didn't want to drink and drive, and number two, I didn't know any of these people. What if they put something in this glass? Turns out her dad's a professor at the university specializing in old ancient artifacts. I thought that was pretty cool. Looking over, I seen this black chest in the corner. It looked like a big black pirate's chest. It would look completely refurbished and mint condition. And what was creepy about it is it had this plaque on it with stuff written in Latin. "What does this say?" I asked. "Beware he who opens the chest, for death awaits them." They all laughed at me after that creepy boy told me that. They motioned to me and mentioned that if I thought that was freaky, I should check out the creepy paintings that were in the back hallway that was used to scare away would-be robbers or thieves. Well, I'm not gonna lie, I really didn't want to hang around there, but I was curious about this painting. So I started to walk around to take a look at it. Elliot was looking more and more freaked out. So I walked to the end of the hallway in the basement, and I seen a small table. A little higher up, almost like a desk, but not. There were some flowers on it. It looked more like an altar than a desk. Looking up, I saw this painting. The painting was extremely disturbing. It was this goat's head on this man's body, and it looked extremely demonic. It had long fingernails and long fingers, and it was sitting on a throne. I always came from a Greek Christian home, and I just began to pray. I got so scared I didn't even know what was happening. All I could feel is myself being drawn into this painting. I don't think this was there to scare off robbers or burglars. I think these people were practicing the occult. And at that very moment, I felt the room spinning. Thank God I didn't have any of that wine. But something was happening. It felt like the house was shaking. Was it the winds outside, or was it something dark and ghastly? I was scared, I was terrified. I came back to where everybody was sitting. "Elliot, we gotta get out of here. We gotta go. I'm sorry, you guys, we gotta go." That's all I could manage to get out. We began hustling up the stairs. I could tell Elliot wanted to get out of there just as bad as I did. I couldn't get that image of the painting out of my head. It was almost like it kept reappearing over and over again. We made our way to the door, past that dark hallway, and it almost felt like something was watching me now. Like the walls were closing in closer and closer. Kristen's dad was no longer in the kitchen with his friends. All the lights were off in the house. We began heading for the door, and as we got to the door, coming from upstairs, was that woman, walking down, almost floating down the stairs. We opened the door. The winds were just whistling all over the place. I motioned Elliot to get in the car. I got in the car, locked the doors, and we headed out as fast as possible. To this day, I still have images of that painting in my mind. Elliot later found out that Kristen's family was involved in the occult, and they had held many dark ceremonies at that house. Elliot's no longer friends with Kristen. And although we still talk to this day, we never really talk about the painting, or the house, or whatever that was in that cup, whether it was blood or wine or anything.
Remember, things aren't always as they appear. What can seem like just a painting could be that holding a very dark element. Thanks for listening, and remember, stay scared.